Hi there, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to discuss tasks, how we create them, where they can be created, creating task dependencies. And we're going to illustrate how you can create and schedule tasks on a specific machine. Now, tasks for a specific procedure can be incredibly detailed or they can be very basic. In some instances, it may make sense to have an entire test procedure go underneath one task. There also would be times where it makes more sense to have very detailed tasks that are laid out that are dependent upon each other for scheduling. We'll show a little bit of both of those cases. So to start off, I'd like to show one of the procedures that I've modified. We actually have a procedure for tracking demonstration trials of LabLINK for specific customers. But I'm going to go to the test request design. I'm going to go to procedures and I'm going to search for LabLINK customer setup procedure. And inside of here, you'll notice that I have a pretty large number of suggested tasks that are part of this procedure. And I've got things that go from initial configuration to connecting machines and generating machine keys, going through user training and all of the different modules. One of the things that's interesting to look at here in this suggested tasks view is that we can look at the dependent suggested tasks, their dependencies. So as you'll notice here, I have essentially three different groupings of tasks: initial configuration, machine connectivity, and user training. And you can see that they have dependencies amongst each other. And these can be manipulated around as well. So for our demonstration purposes here today, I'd like to show adding an additional suggested task to this long list of tasks that I already have created for our LabLINK customer setup procedure. So over on the right hand side of the screen here, I will click on the blue plus button to create a new task. And in this task, let's just call this going to name this just something generic just for demonstration purposes. Okay, now once I've entered in a name, I'm going to click the blue arrow to go to the next item. And here we want to put in the default time that we believe this task will take in hours and minutes. So I'm going to say this is a 0 hour 30-minute task. We have the option to select high priority. Okay, we also have the opportunity to select a resource type that this task would apply to. To keep our demonstration simple, I'm not going to use this feature. Okay, so now once I've went through that, you'll notice that it looks like we have all of these items that are complete, and I can go ahead and create this task. Now you'll notice now that this task shows up at the bottom of my list here. So what I can do here is I can click on the dependent suggested tasks. And now you'll notice that we have one task that is not assigned. It doesn't have any dependencies so far. So if I were to click add, you'll notice that it adds this task into this window here. Okay, and from here now, we can actually make this dependent upon any number of tasks that we would like. So if I would like to say that we will not be complete until the customer has had user training on all of these specific modules, I could pretty easily do that by linking "we are complete" to maintenance. So if I would like to link the "we are complete" task to being dependent upon maintenance here, I can click here. Then I want to navigate and find the maintenance task that you can see here in the line above. And then there's a couple of different arrow options that we can pick. I want to select the add before So maintenance will go before the we are complete task. So now you'll notice that I have essentially 3 different groupings of tasks. If I wanted to make all of them dependent upon each other, it's certainly something I could do as well. For example, I could click on machine connectivity and then make that go to the initial configuration. So now you'll notice we have 2 separate groupings. Now again, if I wanted to make all of these dependent upon each other, I could select user training, and then I want to link that to machine keys. Okay, so now you'll notice that we have all of these tasks are dependent upon each other. Once I've made those changes, I can click Save. So we've now created a list of tasks that are tied to this procedure, LabLINK customer setup procedure. Now, any test request that we make that uses this procedure will have the ability to generate those tasks lists. So what I'm going to do is go to the test request module. I'm going to create a new test. Okay, now I want to look for a procedure, and the procedure that we just modified was called LabLINK customer setup procedure. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to give this a unique test name, LabLINK demo. Okay, now I need to select a laboratory that this will run in. In this laboratory, I have a laboratory created for LabLINK. Estimated runtime hours, these items are pre-populated for us based upon what is dictated in the procedure. Okay, so let's put in a promise date as well, this Friday. Okay, now I'm going to create this test request. Are you sure you want to create LabLINK demo tasks? Create. Okay, so now I have a test request that has been created. If we go to the drop-down menu on the right-hand side of the screen here, we'll notice that tasks are currently grayed out. And the reason for that is that the test request state needs to be changed to reviewed before tasks can be assigned and then scheduled. So what I'm going to do is go to request state, and I'm going to change this request state from created to reviewed, meaning that as the engineer who's put together this test request, I'm now ready to have my test scheduled. I've looked through it, and by flagging this here, I've marked that it's ready to go. So I'm going to click Save. Now, as soon as I do that, you'll notice that we get task suggestions from the procedure, and these are all of the ones that we just looked at when I created, as well as I created the We Are Complete task. We also have the opportunity to create our own here as well. So if I wanted to add something that doesn't exist in the procedure template, we can do that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click Add. So we're going to create this suggested task, which this one is the initial configuration. I'm going to go through the menus here, and I have the opportunity to modify any of the time durations here if required. And when I do this now, I need to select a task location that this is going to take place at. So my location here would be a machine. Okay, so the machine that I have that we're going to use for our scheduling demonstration purposes is called LabLINK demo machine. Okay, so now I'm going to click the right arrow here. And again, I'm not going to provide any resource type that's required here. We already have this linked to a specific machine. And you also have the ability to have a user that's responsible for this task. And again, this is going to be scheduled on a machine, so I'm not going to use that feature. Okay, when I'm all done here, I'm going to click the right mouse button. Okay, so what I want to do is take all of those dependent tasks, and they're all going to be scheduled on this same machine, this LabLINK demo machine. Okay, So now I'm going to click the right arrow here. Okay, we'll review this information. Now we're going to go ahead and create these suggested tasks. Now we're getting a list showing that all 17 of these have been added. This concludes our training of setting up tasks. For more information regarding scheduling tasks, please view our scheduling module demonstration video.